So I got this question in the comments that says, how do I back up my QuickBooks Online data? Now, that's a very straightforward, quick question. You would think it has an easy answer, but it actually doesn't. Unfortunately, I'm missing a little bit of context because I really don't know what you're going to do with that data that you back up. And based on what you're trying to do with that data after you back it up, so what's the backup for, I can make a recommendation because there really isn't a simple answer for this. If you come from the QuickBooks desktop world, you're used to doing an actual hard backup that you can restore and basically get you back at that exact starting point where you last backed up. That doesn't exist in the QuickBooks Online world. So let's answer that question with sort of multiple parts. So we're going to break them down, and it's important to mention they're all important, they're all relevant depending on what you're trying to achieve. So one, we're going to talk about exporting your data into just dumping it into an Excel file. So that's the simplest way. That's going to be option one. Option two, we're going to convert your entire QuickBooks Online data set into QuickBooks Desktop. This will create a backup copy that you can run in QuickBooks Desktop in your computer. You would have to own a license of QuickBooks Desktop or download a 30-day trial to make that work, but that is the second option. The third option is to use an app. There are two apps. One is called Chronobooks, which is actually acquired by Intuit and is now included with QuickBooks Online Advanced Edition. And there's Rewind, which was Chronobooks' competitor, let's call it that. And now it's pretty much the only app that I've trust to do real-time backups and restore for QuickBooks Online files. So we'll talk about that. And then lastly, the last option would be just running reports, running filters, and choosing which data set, which transaction list through the filters that I want to export into an Excel file. So maybe I can use that file to import in some other accounting software, for example. So we got 4 ways to back up or export your data into, from QuickBooks Online into whatever. So let's do option 1, which is just doing a data dump into Excel from QuickBooks Online. So we got QuickBooks Online open right now. I'm going to click on the gear menu on the top right of the screen. I'm going to click on the gear menu, and then I'm going to go down to where it says export data. I'm going to click on export data, and the screen will pop up, and you'll have 2 tabs, reports and lists. And basically either one of these tabs, reports and lists, you can enable or disable which of the things you want to export and which you don't. By default, just enable everything. It's just a lot easier. And then it says what date range. Now, I like to do an all dates data dump. And then I also like to do a selective year by year data dump, because depending on what I'm going to do with this data, if there's going to be an audit, for example, from the government, typically the audits are broken down by year. And because it's just one big Excel file with a bunch of data in it, I don't want it to have multiple years worth of data in it. So I'm going to do one all dates data dump, make sure all these things are turned on, and then I'm going to click on export to Excel. That export is going to generate, depending on how big the company file, it's going to generate a zip file. That could take 1 minute. It could take 5 minutes. I've never seen it take more than 5 minutes, really. So we're literally just going to wait there until this boxing up data finishes, and it tells you you're done. The file has been exported. Now you will notice on the bottom right here on my browser that it downloaded a zip file. So I'm going to click on that little menu and click on show in folder so I can see the folder that it was downloaded into. I'm going to right click on that and click on extract all. I just want to show you what this looks like. Click on extract all and then click on extract, and then this is going to create a folder with that data. Now I'm just going to go back for a second here, and I'm going to rename this one. I'm going to rename this one in the folder, right click and rename it all dates. I'm going to call it, I'm going to leave the company file there and do all dates, and then click and then type as of. So I'm giving it, I'm very specific, letting it know that this backup is for all dates as of September 8th. So we'll open up that folder, and there's all my files. So if I double click on the balance sheet, it will have a balance sheet in Excel that's based on September 8th with all dates enabled. So that might not be that meaningful. So we're going to go to the big one, which is the general ledger. This is the one that contains basically every transaction grouped by account. So there's all my transactions for bank account A, bank account B. I'm going to scroll down here. We got my PayPal account. Pretty much every single transaction in QuickBooks, it's one big Excel file, which this is great. And you can backtrack if you're using a tax return that was used, that used a QuickBooks file, and you want to go through an audit and you don't want to give people access to the QuickBooks Online file, or maybe you disconnected your QuickBooks Online file, or maybe your company closed down. This is at least a data point that you can use in order to then find your receipts and all of that stuff. So this is actually a great option. It's all built into QuickBooks Online. I really like it. My only pointer is that you do the all dates, and then you go back and do export data and take your time and do a custom date range and do each year. So we'll do 1/1/2018 through 12/31/2018. Make sure I put the slashes here so it picks up the date. So 12/31/2018, and then do an export to Excel, and then go back into show in folder. I will do my extract all, so I get my folder, click on extract, then rename the folder again. Let me just go back to that here. Rename that folder again, which would be this one. Right click, rename, and then I'm going to put here 2018, and then as of September 8th, 2020. That way I have now two folders, basically, one with all dates and one that will only contain 2018, and then you do that exercise for every single year that you want to back up. So that's the kind of Excel data dump version of this. We're going to move on to converting this to QuickBooks Desktop, which is going to be a really big ordeal you're about to see. So in order to be able to convert QuickBooks Online into a QuickBooks Desktop file, first of all, you need to be on a PC. That's the most important thing. It will not work in a Mac. The biggest issue with this is that you have to use Internet Explorer 11. If you're not sure if you have it, or maybe you have it, doesn't really matter. Just go into Google and type Internet Explorer 11 download. Just type Internet Explorer 11 download, and you're going to click on the Microsoft.com link that sends you to your Internet Explorer download 11. You're going to select English, click on download, and kind of just follow the prompts, install it. If you already have it, the installation will override, or it won't do anything. You have to have Internet Explorer 11 installed on your computer, period. Otherwise, it will not work. So now after we install Internet Explorer 11, let's go through the conversion process. So as of the date of this video, the conversion process from QuickBooks Online to QuickBooks Desktop is very quirky. Most people get very frustrated and they can't do this, but hopefully if you follow step by step, you'll be able to do it. So as we mentioned earlier, we're using Internet Explorer 11 to do this. I'm going to click on the gear menu on the top right of Internet Explorer, not the gear menu inside QuickBooks, but the one from the Internet Explorer itself. And I'm going to scroll down to Internet Options. I need to first change the security settings to be able to do this. So then I'm going to click on the Security tab, which is the second tab, Internet Options. And under my Internet zone here, we're going to make sure that our security settings are set up to medium, and this Enable Protected mode needs to be off. It won't work with the protected mode. So we're going to click on OK. And if you are changing the security settings, you might need to close the browser, open it back up for it to work. So the next step is we're going to click on the gear menu inside QuickBooks itself, and then we're going to click on where it says Export Data under the Tools column. Here where it says, why are you exporting? You can click anything, it doesn't matter. And then we're going to scroll down and click on where it says Moving to QuickBooks Desktop. So we're going to go ahead and click on that, and then it'll have two options: Export to List and Balances, which will send you back to that menu to the Excel export, and then we can click on Download Company Data to start the sort of the export process. So we're going to click on Download Company Data, and then the first thing that it will do is it'll tell you, hey, this is a multi-step process. You have to follow everything step by step. At this point, you can print that if you want to have a printout version of it, but I'm just going to click here where it says Get Started. Then it might ask you to install your ActiveX controls. If you don't see this in green saying that you're good to go, then just click on Install and then follow the prompt to make sure your ActiveX is installed. Usually when your Internet Explorer is up to date, you should have all that stuff. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and click on continue. And then it's asking you, would you like to do all financial data without transactions, which is pretty much useless in my opinion, and the first option, which is all financial data, which includes most transactions. Let's say the premise is all transactions, but it's really most transactions, 99.9%, right? And then we're going to go ahead and click on continue. And then it says step 3, request your data. So it says here, and it's giving you warnings. If you're using budgets will not be exported. If you got customer credit card info, that will not be exported. If you're using locations, that will not be exported. And for some strange reasons, estimates don't export as well. You can click on this link here that says learn about limitations of converting your data. It's worth going through it, because if you are going to fully start using QuickBooks in desktop from this point forward, and this is not just sort of a backup for reference, you want to go through this article and click on each of these and understand everything that you're losing in the process, because you are going to lose data in the process. QuickBooks Online has different transaction types. You're going to lose data in the process, so it's important that you read through that and understand what you're missing or potentially missing in the process. So let's say we're okay with that, and then we're going to click on continue on the right, and then it says, hey, go ahead and put your name and email so we can let you know when this is done. So I'll just put my name here and my email address, and then I'm going to click on continue, and then literally I just wait for the email to show up. All right, so we got the email. It says congratulations, your file's ready to be downloaded. It tells you the things you need to do. Go back into QuickBooks, click on where it says download company file, and follow the on-screen instructions. I'm going to show you how I do it. I went back into QuickBooks, logged back into QuickBooks, clicked on the gear menu again, and then I'm going to click on where it says on the tools column, click on export data. So we're getting back into the same screen essentially. Then we're going to scroll down, clicking on moving to QuickBooks Desktop, learn more. Click on download company file again. So same thing. Then it looks like we're starting over, but we're not. We're going to go ahead and click on where it says get started. Then it asks you the ActiveX question again. That's fine. We just click on continue. Then we're going to click on all financial data again, and then click on continue. Seems like we're working over, but we're not. And then it says here that we've already done the download. There's the date of the last download. Go ahead and click on where it says continue to download. So right here on the bottom right, you're going to click on that big blue button that says continue to download next to start over. So we're going to click on continue to download, and now we're in step 4. So create a QuickBooks Windows company file. So it says please open up your QuickBooks Desktop now and close the company file that it displays. So I'm going to go back into QuickBooks Desktop, and if I have a company file open, I'm going to click on file and then close company to make sure that I am in this no company open screen. It needs to be in this no company open screen. Is extremely important. We're going to go back into QuickBooks here. Then we're going to click on the download button. So we'll click on download, and you're going to have a little pop-up that says the company file is being downloaded. Then it says, hey, save this somewhere that you know where it's supposed to go. So I'm going to go into desktop, click on a new folder, and call it new company, right? You can call it whatever you want. Just create a folder so you know exactly what's happening. You don't need to change the file name. Just leave the file name as is. Put it in a folder that you know what's going on, and then click on save. So once we do that, it's going to start to actually download sort of the transactions into this file that we really can't open yet in that folder. But now we need to convert it from that file into what QuickBooks can read. So we're going to click here where it says convert now. But really important, read the instructions first, because it says right here you're going to choose the company name that's going to go into QuickBooks, and then it's going to ask you to make sure you hit yes, right? So we're going to go ahead and click on convert now. Then we're going to give the company file a name. So let's say this is Hector Corporation. So this usually should be the actual official legal name of the business. We'll click on save, and then you're going to notice that the browser and QuickBooks Desktop will start sort of interacting. So you're going to notice that the QuickBooks Desktop is doing its thing. So I'm not going to switch to it now. I'm just going to wait until something pops up, right? Because it tells you right here that you need to open QuickBooks and make sure you hit yes somewhere. So I heard the computer chime, so I'm gonna go back into QuickBooks here, and I see that there's a pop-up screen basically asking for me to allow the application to modify this company file. So this is how we tell QuickBooks, yes, it's totally okay for my Internet Explorer to push data into this QuickBooks company file that we just created. So I'll go ahead and click on continue. So after I hit yes, I click on continue, then click on done. And then we're just gonna let it do its thing. I mean, I could close whatever it's open now. It might let me, it might not let me. No, it doesn't let me. We're just gonna let it do its thing. Notice that the icon is sort of flickering. So we're literally just gonna wait until that is done flickering. Now I can actually go back into Internet Explorer and see if there's a status screen. I can make that a little bit bigger, and I don't have to stare at a blank screen. I can actually look at the percentage bar and then maybe just wait for that to complete. So we'll wait for that. So after about 15 minutes, it says congratulations, the file is completed. Now I can go back into my QuickBooks desktop and do some exploring. So let me go into reports, company financial, and profit and loss standard. What I want to see if I lost any data in the process. I'm going to go to dates and click on all dates, and then maximize this window. So now I get to see basically everything that's in here. So usually what I want to look at is the net income, 745, 318.96. So if that's exact in QuickBooks Online, then in theory, we got all the transactions in there. I'm gonna switch it over to QuickBooks Online and run the same report. So I'm gonna go reports, and then I'm gonna pull up a profit and loss. And I'm going to click on the dates, click on all dates, and then click on run report, and then scroll down to my net income. This is 727, 873.56, and then QuickBooks Desktop was 745, 318.96. There's no button I can press, no magical button that will tell me what the difference is. Unfortunately, when you convert from from online to desktop, you literally have to cross your fingers and hope that the difference is not as much. Typically what I'll do is I'll break this down by year. So I'm going to do this by year by going into show columns and do year, and then basically look at what year the difference is. Let me go back into QuickBooks Online here, and then we're going to go back and do columns by year, so kind of the same report, and then see which specific year has the difference. Go back into QuickBooks, and it looks like, let's see, negative 2664.55 for year one. Same thing for year two. So now that I have it broken down by year, then I know it's only 2020 my issue. So I changed my date range to 2020. And I don't want to spend too much time troubleshooting this, because troubleshooting this is a world of its own. But I'm just kind of giving you a general idea how you would troubleshoot the differences. And then I can break this down by month, run it like this, and then go into QuickBooks Desktop and the same thing, do the date range, and break this down by month. And then I can look at the net income each month. So the first month is 68,000. Go back into QuickBooks here, online, 68,000. So I'm going to go month by month, see where the issue is, and then kind of break it down from there. And I can go into the details of each one and kind of see what transactions were missed or what transactions are missing. Like I said, there's not much we can do other than manually reviewing the differences. A video where we literally go through making changes to fix the conversion problems is probably an entire video of its own. And I'm not even sure if it's worth doing, just because these conversions are just, hey, hope for the best, do them, and hopefully in an audit the difference is not that big, or the differences don't affect whatever the actual underlying reasons of making this conversion from online to desktop. All right, let's move on to the next thing. All right, so let's talk about doing a backup inside QuickBooks Online using an app. Now, if you're working with QuickBooks Online Advanced Edition, which is a more expensive option, is a $150 a month option, you will have a built-in app or a no-cost app or service you can attach to QuickBooks Online to be able to do your backups. So really the way you would know is you would click on the gear menu on the top right of the screen and then click on account and settings. And then on the left hand side of the screen, we can click on billing and subscriptions, and we can know what version of QuickBooks you have. So I'm currently working with QuickBooks Online Advanced. If you're working with Essentials, Simple Start, or Plus, you will not have access to this specific feature I will talk to you about, but I will show you what the alternative looks like. So if you're working with Advanced, you click on the gear menu, you click on Backup Company. That will open up basically a second tab where you're going to see this thing called QuickBooks Online Backup and Restore. This actually used to be an app called Chronobooks that Intuit acquired for the purposes of including it for free with their best version of QuickBooks Online, which is the Advanced Edition. You will notice on the left-hand side that you'll be able to do a backup, a restore, a copy, so you can create a duplicate file. And there's also a local backup that allows you to connect this to like Dropbox or Google Drive, and it'll push in basically a file in Excel that can be viewed like an Excel file, sort of the same way you can do it with exporting your transactions via QuickBooks in Excel, but it's a lot more comprehensive. So this online backup and restore, again, is only available in the advanced edition of QuickBooks, and it gives you all those functions. Let's say, for example, that you don't have the advanced edition, you have Plus, Essentials, Simple Start, you don't need to pay the $150 a month, but you do want this sort of online backup and restore options. What you can do here on the left-hand side, we can click on the apps menu. If you see an apps button on the left-hand side, you can click on apps. If you don't see it, then just type in manually apps.com, and that will take you to like the QuickBooks App Store. And then in apps.com, you'll be able to access different apps, and there will be apps for backup and restore. As of the date of this video, the one I use is Rewind. So you can actually just search for Rewind in the search, and it's called Rewind Backups. But if you just type backup, I'm sure that there might be other applications in there, like this one called Safety Net, Backup Circle. I actually never used them before, so I don't want to endorse it. The only other one I've used is this one called Rewind. So I'll show you that. So I'm going to go into Rewind here. Then I'm going to click pricing, just so we know. This has an additional cost. This costs $20 a month for individual users. And if you're an accountant, I guess, with multiple clients, you pay $9 a month per client. So just so you know, this is a paid service. It's not included. So I'm going to click on Learn More. And then we'll wait for that pop up. And we'll go ahead and click on Get Started. And I'm going to sign in with my Intuit account. All right, then we're going to click on Authorize. I'm authorizing a third-party app outside of QuickBooks to view my information. So you have to authorize someone that's not Intuit to have a backup of your data. And then we're going to call this, let's call it Hector Corp. You give it your company name. Click on Continue. And then we're going to click on Link Account. QuickBooks Online. Notice you can also do Shopify and BigCommerce backup, so that's not within the scope of this video, but we're going to go ahead and finish linking our QuickBooks Online account. Okay, and then you want to make sure the right file is being connected if you have multiple QuickBooks Online files, and then we'll click on Next and Connect. Then I'll click on Continue. And then it says your account has been linked. Okay, so we're good to go so far. And now we're going to select our plan. So we'll click here. I'm a business owner, and then I'm going to start a free trial in this case. Okay, later on, you're going to have to put your credit card information. Actually, you kind of have to put the credit card information. Then I want to stop at this point because I'm not going to do it, but you will do that, and then you will kind of follow the prompt in Rewind. So those are the two ways you can back up your data to do live restore if you choose to continue to use your QuickBooks Online account permanently. All right, the last option would be exporting transactions into like a sort of a CSV Excel file so they can be then imported into some other accounting system. Now, This I'm going to do really briefly because it would take a very long time to explain how every transaction type would work in this particular case. But the premise is that we're going to choose, we're going to download all the invoices or all the bills or all the checks or all the deposits, something like that. And we're going to put them into separate Excel files or CSV files, so then I can use whatever other accounting system I'm going to be using to import the data, and that accounting system might have its own process to do that, which we're not going to cover, but we'll cover how to download those like a sort of a report. So let's say I wanted to download all of my invoices. So I'm going to go into reports, and then into reports, I'm going to search for transaction detail list by date. So I just click there, transaction list by date. And then let's say I want to do all my invoices from this year. So I'm going to click on the drop down menu, click on this year, and then I'm going to click on customize report. And then I'm going to go down to filter, and then I'm going to put the check mark on transaction type, click on that drop down and select invoices. I recommend doing transaction type, each transaction type at a time, because it allows you to control the data a little bit better. So we're just going to do invoices, click on run report, and then in here, you're literally going to have a report. Let me collapse that so we can get a little bit more information. We're going to have a report of all the invoices that we have. So with this, I can just simply export that list of invoices where it says here on the export. And then we're going to click on export to Excel, and then I was just going to clean it up in Excel as I go. Now this export is a little bit tricky because if your invoices contain more than one line item, you might need a different report to do this. You might need the one that contains the splits. So I'll show you what the other one looks like. So I'm going to go back into reports, and then I'm going to search for transaction list with splits. And then the transaction list with splits, you will see, I'm going to do the same thing this year, run report, and then I'm going to click on, wait until that finishes loading. Then I'm going to click on customize, filter, and then do transaction type, and select invoice and click on run. And then here it says group by. I'm going to do none because I don't want to group them. And then basically on this specific one, it's a very similar type of export. However, you will notice that invoices that have multiple line items or multiple things affecting your accounting, they're all going to be split in there. And then, after you export it, you can tweak that and play with that to see how the data goes. I mean, there's multiple ways of doing it. The other way to do it is go to reports, and then do a profit and loss detail. So profit and loss detail, let's do profit and loss detail, and then click on run report, and then you're going to get something similar. It's going to be kind of a group by account. So I'm not sure if that's going to be useful, but after doing some Excel cleanup, you can do that as well. Now, the difference between that and the sort of the standard way that they give you, which is you click on the gear menu and click on export data and get those CSV files, is that in here it allows you to control that data a little bit. With the filters, you can choose what you want to export, what you don't want to export. Again, it might be a very long process to do it this way, but if you only need selected data, that would be the best way to do it. Anyway, I know that was a very long video and a very long explanation, but you know me, if you follow me in YouTube, I'm very thorough with my answers, and I'm a consultant. So when my clients pay me for my knowledge and my time and my insight, I don't give yes or no answers. I say, look, these are all your different options. And then based on the options that you have, pick whatever makes more sense to you. Anyway, go ahead and hit like on this video if you liked the video and you watched up to this point. Subscribe to the channel so you can get updates when I do more videos like this. And add in the comments below, did you like this? Did you not like this? Did I miss something in the process? Add comments to give me ideas of what more content I could create. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.